hear you very well. I am at the restaurant in the Berlin Central Station. I just arrived.
Oh, you're going to the IMCL conference?
Yeah, and I'm completely nugget because I've been literally like
wonderful. I hope you enjoy
11
it.
hours on the road.
Oh, really? Sounds like a long time.
Can you ask me, is it upside down? Is it?
Yes, it's upside down.
I just pulled up the building that Nir is at.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the finest airports in the world, maybe the best, and also probably uniquely the best transportation structure post-World War II. There's not a single curved element in here, despite the appearance of so many curves. It's really a piece of brilliant work done by Caesar Pelli out of New Haven. Back in the 80s, he designed it back in the 80s. I think it was built in the 90s. And it's a testament to what can be done if you're a good architect.
So for our international readers, this is a Washington, D.C. Reagan National Airport?
Yes, we call it National Airport here.
So I guess all the heads of state who visit the White House arrive in this airport?
No, none of them do.
Oh, really?
They get to a military base in Maryland, just south of D.C. And they come in through South Capitol Street, under the freeway. It's a horrible procession.
Okay, we have Alexandros, and before we get to the book, I would really like Alexandros to tell us about the IMCL conference that he's attending.
Well, I haven't gone there yet. I just arrived in Berlin, so I missed the first day. This I will start tomorrow. So I think after that I'll be speaking on Saturday. So, yeah.
Alexander, we cannot hear you very well.
You cannot hear me. I'm sorry. I'm at the Berlin Central Station at the restaurant. Because there was no time to go to the hotel.
Now it's better.
No, I think you were just far from the mic just before. But now
I was just saying that I just arrived. I haven't been yet, so I have to bit of a birthday. I will go tomorrow and then Saturday at the presentation. There will be some interesting things discussed afterwards.
Cool. So, by the way, I bought the book on. Can I pull up? I don't know if I should pull up that conference, but I bought the book on Google Play Books. I think they sell the ebook.
Can you? Yeah, let's see it. I've never seen it there.
Yeah. On my desktop at home, it displays with a black background and white text. But maybe this is more accurate to the way the book is.
Okay, so go ahead.
Here we go. Let's go. Start from the front page, from the cover.
Yeah, the cover.
Let's go with the cover.
Well, go on. Either Anne or Alexandros. You're both the editors of this fantastic book.
Unfortunately, I cannot read anything on the screen. So,
well, let's see the cover. Start with the cover.
Let's put this.
Start with the cover. Well, there it is, guys. The Handbook of Neuroscience of the Built Environment. Not only took us 2 years to put it together, we got 51 contributors from 4 continents to write 31 chapters for free. And there's so much interest in this booming field of neuroscience, understanding the human experience, and understanding subliminal behavior. And that's what this book is really about, the science about non-conscious, and also the science of how mommy nature's kind of predicted how she's going to, where she wants you to be, where you're going to feel best. It's preset by our evolutionary heritage. And the book has, 6 different parts. You were talking to me about that a little bit, Ara, that you found it useful, the way it was organized. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, I think it's so cool that people are so passionate about our built environment that you guys are willing to put this together. It's awesome. But yeah, so I was curious about the 6 parts because it seems like it starts with the brain, how you experience it, and then it goes into like the actual structures, and then it's like there's a piece on the sacred and the spirit, and then it goes back into the psychology and the experience. I think it's really. I was just curious about how you guys came up with the 6 parts. But yeah,
Well, I would say with many discussions and back and forth, and I think it makes some sense in the sense that first you want to give the basis of what you want to talk about. You want to see architecture, the built environment, see the lens of what we know now about how the brain works. So we want to set the stage. That is the idea, and then through that branch ideas.
Yeah, and I think the point is, I mean, I was starting to reread it again too, and you realize there's not just one lens to look through. There's multiple ways of looking at the data, and different kinds of data, and I kind of each of us have our windows of little expertise. Like with me, it's been eye tracking with eye motions. With other people, it's been using EEG. It's different ways of looking at it. I've been fascinated by building facades. Other people like Julio Bermudez are fascinated by our experience of awe and how that is intergenerational. The same buildings, churches, temples we enter, whatever the generation, we still will experience awe. So, I mean, there's a picture right there of, what is it, Hagia Sophia it's a picture of the Blue Mosque in Turkey, right? I mean, people go there from around the world and they will feel awe. Architecture will bring people together. It's quite interesting. And this chapter was written by Anjan Chatterjee. And so it's just really interesting to see there's more than one way to look at all this science and connect it to architecture. We're at a starting place. And that's what's so exciting. And I think people are actually eager for this kind of knowledge.
Let me add my own interpretation as a contributor, not an editor. As a contributor, the majority of these essays come from outside architecture. They come from scientists who are positioned and doing research outside mainstream architecture. So it's bringing in all sorts of things. That's why we have all these different categories. This knowledge is new to architects. It's new to mainstream architecture. It's like a revelation, to those who are interested in it. Many are not. But for those who are interested, it's eye-opening. So Alexandros, I mean, look, Alexandros is a neuroscientist making significant contributions to architecture. Say something, Alexandros.
And now you can hear.
I'm sorry, I muted you and Nir because
because there's a lot of noise here.
Go close to the mic and tell us something.
Yeah, I think what's really important is that people understand that there are things with which we are pre-programmed, pre-wired, that there are things that have to do with our nature. I think maybe it's not a coincidence that during the middle of the 20th century, where psychology behaviorism was king, there was such a boom about architecture. Because, people thought we were born with a tabula rasa.
It cut out. It's not a coincidence that during which century? It cut out,
the middle of the 20th century, behaviorism was sort of ruling in psychology. And it was time when also modernism was ruling in architecture. And I'm just saying we know that we're not born tabula rasa.
We're not born
that.
Right.
Yeah, we're not, a blank sheet of paper. We know that we have pre-programmed reactions which make sense on an evolutionary level. And we can see those, we started to see some of those in our brain. I always like to give the example of the snake detection circuit that we have. Who would have thought that there is a circuit for detecting snakes? And there is. But it's not architecture, but it just goes to show how much of our reactions is critical. And I mean, you've discussed these things also in the past in your podcast with Nikos, and how the geometrical organization of nature and how this was reflected in all architecture reacting to modernism, and how modernism is really out of tune with our perception system.
Right. That's such a good point. The tabula rasa. The mind is not tabula rasa. The foundation of modern architecture is false. It assumes it's tabula rasa. But you have to have compassion. The founders lived through very turbulent times, and they needed to go tabula rasa to survive. They didn't realize they were hurting society, but now we know. And what's so wonderful about like the Blue Mosque here is it brings people together. Even if you don't speak Turkish, don't speak Arabic, you walk in and you feel, I belong. I'm supposed to be here. And humans, non-consciously, we're hardwired to be a social species. We need buildings that draw us together, in this case, over centuries. And that's what's amazing, to really start to understand that and to be able to deconstruct how it's happening, how it's preset, exactly what Alexandros was saying. It's pre-programmed into our brain, what will bring us together and what will not. And you can start thinking about that too, because to survive on the savannah was so difficult, because architecture itself is relatively recent, 10,000 years, we've had to figure out, it has to be preset what we want to look at. We're going to run from sharp shapes. Will be curves make us feel better. There's a whole chapter about that in the book as well. It's very, very interesting. It's complex and very, very interesting and very, very human.
And another thing is, another thing is the ease of registration of the environment. Environments that have this geometry of nature, as we call it, are easy to read. And many people find this counterintuitive. Say, why is a tree, which is so complicated, easier to read than the spring? Well, it is because our nervous system is built like that. It can read this quasi-fractal geometry instantly. And there is neurological data with EEG and with functional MRI that demonstrate that, how easy it is to take in those fractal, quasi-fractal instructions. When you have an environment that is easy to register, you feel safer at a psychological level, because if the big bad wolf comes, you can easily spot it against an easily legible environment. And at the same time, at the more basic physiological level, we now have evidence, experiments of Wilkins, we have evidence that there are certain geometrical features that actually cause stress, technically speaking, brain. Parallel lines at a certain apparent distance cause stress. They're difficult to compute, difficult to take in, and they require more energy consumption of the brain.
Yeah, we now can know the science, why people are getting headaches more around modern buildings, and repetitive parallel lines are increasing in architecture, hurting us more. It doesn't fit what we're built to visually see.
There are two things that interested me. Well, it's crazy how that movement hijacked the term modern, because before that it meant something. Before them it meant something else. So I was surprised by, in the book there was a positive view on Zaha Hadid building, and I forget which author it was, but it was different from. And then from what you guys shared about Zaha, and then there was someone who worked with Norman Foster. It was just interesting to see that there was a more broad variety of architecture in the book. I forgot which author it was that shared that, because the Zaha Hadid building did have curved form, which Anne does say is a positive. So yeah, it was talking about it in that aspect. And then there's someone, I forgot who it was, someone who worked with Norman Foster, who contributed to the book.
Yes, that's here.
Yeah, That's fascinating because I know you guys have been very critical of Norman Foster and of Zaha Hadid.
Very critical, and we will not change our opinion. However, you know, this is inclusive, you know. Before I forget, there is a chapter by Cleo Valentine, chapter 19, Design for Well-Being. So Alexandros mentioned parallel lines that cause headaches and discomfort. So Cleo Valentine is now the authority on a parallel line. So she has this chapter, and she also has a very recent article with Wilkins on parallel lines.
Yeah, Arnold Wilkins was
work.
the one who, Arnold Wilkins in the UK was the one
Exactly.
who started the
But
parallel
this
line
is
studies.
this is a very nice summary chapter here in the handbook by Cleo Valentine.
So I watched a talk 2 days ago, Nikos Salingaros talk at, I forgot what university it was, and someone said, well, you're critical of modernism, but when Gaudi was doing his work, he was labeled a modernist compared to what was around. And Nikos was like, oh, Gaudi is one of ours. He has many of the properties that we talk about, whereas the Bauhaus modernism only has 2. Gaudi has about 10.
Or more.
Gaudi, or more, yeah. But so yeah, the term, what it defined, has changed architecturally.
Right. Well, you have to understand, they didn't understand how post-traumatic stress disorder changed your brain until the 1980s. And the ability to understand how the brain shrinks, you lose the ability to take in detail. They didn't really know till MRI came on. That's like 1990s. So a lot of this stuff is barely 30 years old. And so, you know, Gropius would wake up screaming at night when he worked in Boston at Harvard, right? His wife would talk about how he was still screaming from, well, he served on the Western Front for 4 years. He had PTSD.
Yes.
Oh, he had night terrors?
What?
It's a night terror when you wake up and you sit up and you start yelling.
Yeah. Gropius had a damaged brain because
he had
of
damaged
the,
brain. I showed the pictures of his house that he built when he taught at Harvard from the 30s to the early 50s to a Harvard medical school professor. He said, every image is PTSD. Duh. You know, he was like,
It's a bunker.
yeah, he was like, we found it boring, but it's like that they didn't know, you know, they didn't know how the brain is. Yeah, that's it. Every image is PTSD, and the house even looks like a bunker, and every window is designed that he couldn't be seen from inside when you're on the outside, all hidden. So yeah, they didn't know that. There was such a rush to run from the past because it was so horrible, and modernism got embraced. Well, you could understand why. It was horrible.
Yeah, I want to mention that Michael Mahaffey wrote one of the 2 introductions to this book, to this.
Oh, it's brilliant. And
volume.
his introduction.
Yeah, it's a very nice introduction, and Alexandros is going now to the conference that is organized by Michael, and has started already yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, there was a reception last night. Today it started properly.
So this, since Alexandros' mic is broken up, I would say it's the International Making Cities Livable Conference. It's an annual conference, and people who are interested in human architecture, both on the scale of buildings and cities, get together. It's a very important international conference. And this year is in Potsdam, just outside Berlin.
And Alexandros will be presenting an eye tracking study.
Wow, wow.
Well, now it will be actually moving to new modalities that we have available, not just eye tracking itself, but also facial expression analysis. It's a lot that can be detected from people people stare at the camera and they have micro expressions that we quantify. And of course, the more people you adapt to the study, the more detail about how you react to the different images. There are some interesting preliminary results, but we're still recruiting participants for the study.
That's very exciting. And I did want to say that because this is new to bring all these ideas and people together, we will be having next month an international online book launch. It's scheduled for Friday, November 21st at 11 a.m., where we're going to invite all the contributors who can attend to come together to speak briefly about their chapter. So we're very excited about that. Yeah. Oh, this
And I
is
just
mine. This is the attention as currency chapter.
Yeah, whose is this? Is this yours, Anne, or
Yeah,
Alexandros?
this is mine. And that's actually my students' work showing how a new software that's a plugin for
Yeah,
Photoshop.
Ara, can you zoom in to see this? Thank you. Whoops! No. The building.
Not the Raisin Bran box.
No, we saw the Raisin Bran box. Okay,
Yeah. But just show, this is great. This is a plugin, $9 a month if you have Photoshop, which is 3M visual attention software. It was invented by 3M in 2011. It became a plugin for Photoshop, I think, in 2020. And you just throw in any image, and in less than 30 seconds, it shows you where people will look in the first 3 to 5 seconds. And then where the areas where they'll focus. And then there's a visual sequence, the likely visual sequence, where they look first, second, third, fourth, without even thinking about it. And you can see non-consciously, they immediately focus on the red door. And whereas the glass building is a new building, Mass College of Art, built about 2016 in downtown Boston, people, where's the door? You're not going to find it. Your brain won't even make a memory of it because you could see it's mostly in black. Your brain will make you look away from it. It's avoidant. So architectures are.
Yeah, let me summarize it in my language. It's a total failure because it's not there. It's avoidant. Nobody wants to look at it. This huge building. It's a failure.
And if it's a hospital and this is the door to the ER, that's even worse then.
Yeah. But the fact is, this is public school, public funding, public money, designed for the public, designed for Massachusetts residents, students, and they're designing a building that the architect doesn't realize people non-consciously can't see. They don't know that. So it's fascinating. In fact, it was a BAC student. I teach at the Boston Architecture College, BAC, as she put this study together. And I gave her full credit, Becky Chen. It's very good. The student really picked a good contrast here, just to show.
Right.
A really
just
good idea.
to add for the listeners, if somebody wants to use that, I really recommend that you first read our paper with Anne and Nikos that we wrote a few years ago, presenting this software and with instructions about how to use it for architectural research.
And we also have.
That's
a good idea. Thank you, Alexandros. We also have a free course on how to use it on the Human Architecture and Planning. It's on the Thinkific website. We have a course on how to use it for 30 minutes. There's it. Yeah, using eye tracking.
The course is where? What website?
The course is on our website. It's called the Human Architecture and Planning Institute using 3M VAS. I can send you the link. It's free and it's worth a half unit learning unit from the AIA.
Yeah, we have several papers. I mean, Anne by herself, or Anne with students, Anne, myself, Alexandros with Anne, several papers, all different aspects of this. But I want to get back to something Alexandros mentioned, but his voice broke up. The next step, Alexandros is presenting the next step beyond eye tracking, which is the attention. We now measure emotions. So this is what Anne and Alexandros have been doing. New sensors can measure the emotion. So you know that your eye is fixated on this, but is it a positive or negative emotion? That's extremely important. We want a positive emotion for good architecture.
Right. And that's what's so fascinating with this software. You can predict how people will feel before it's even built, with the 3M VAS as well as the iMotion software. 3M VAS doesn't tell you emotions, but the iMotions does. And you can tell before something's built. And we should start using that.
Ara, earlier you said something about Gaudi being modern. Yeah, of course, he's modern in the sense that he's part of the modern era, but not really modernist. I like to make a comparison with music. I think at the beginning of the 20th century, you had people like Stravinsky, who was very modern. If you listen to the Rite of Spring, there's many dissonances, but it has a tonal center, a tonal voice. You understand where it's based. And there were also the 12 tones of orders. The group, you have no idea where the phrase begins and where it ends. That was an experiment in music. I personally think that modern architecture is more like a 12-tone music, and Gaudi is more like Stravinsky.
Gaudi is fantastic.
Yes.
And what's so interesting, there is a chapter on this too, the human preference for curves, and Gaudi picked up on that, which modern architecture has mostly ignored. Oh, this is interesting. This is our Dutch colleagues did this, and they asked us to give images in Boston and New York, and they provided images in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, just the importance of, I think in some ways this is a Band-Aid for modern architecture. They're putting in pocket parks, but showing how that's exchange, it makes it an improved living environment.
Well, it's one factor, and it definitely improves it, but it's one factor of several, and we already know the other factors from Christopher Alexander's work, but they're not applied, they're not implemented.
No, they're not implemented, and they're not taught.
No.
So that's what's
Christopher Alexander derives so many of the necessary factors for good human-centered architecture and urban design. Not
Right.
taught, totally ignored.
not taught at all. No.
Those 15 principles are his? They came from Christopher Alexander? I was looking at them yesterday. They were really good.
Nico, maybe you should mention your relevant experiments with AI.
I'm using them for the AI experiments.
Yeah, the experiments. Yeah, I mean, they're spectacular what you've done with it.
Yeah, I just published a paper with Nicholas Boy Smith.
That's
I just saw it today.
fantastic.
It's fantastic.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
fantastic.
I
That's
saw it today.
fantastic.
On the
you
train,
did?
I
That
saw
is
it. On the
fantastic.
train. Yeah.
Well,
That is fantastic.
I have some news for our audience. You know, Nicholas is a go-getter. So
He's
he will
amazing.
use this, the results of this paper, and go to the public.
Right.
Because
Because
you know,
what they're-
nobody's going to read the paper
Right.
in the scientific journal. But Nicholas knows how to get his results out to the public.
Right. No, Nicholas is very, very clever.
Wait, what is that? What's the Nicholas thing?
It's a paper I just published using Alexander's 15 properties with emotions to get the AI to judge buildings, and the AI chooses the more human-centered design, which is amazing.
It's amazing how quick AI can figure out what people want to see.
Yes.
The way architects aren't taught it. It's so striking.
That's a different paper, but this is a good paper too. This is a good paper too. But the one with Nicholas, he will.
Where did you get it published?
The one with Nicholas is in Designs magazine.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And okay, so the whole world is listening. I will make an announcement. Designs magazine sent this paper to 7 reviewers. I have never in my life seen anything go to 7 reviewers. And we had 6 positive reviews and 1 negative review. And I answered all the points of the negative reviewer, and it was accepted. I mean, I've been doing this for decades. I've never seen 7 reviewers. But we got through, and now it's published.
That's fantastic. That's huge. Because that
2, 3, the max I've seen is 4. Actually. 7.
Okay, so look, more about the handbook, since we have, Alexandros and Anne.
Right. Well, I think that's a start to have architecture school libraries, to have architecture school classes know that there are all these resources there, and it's a beginning template for them to do more research or to really start studying how do curves impact a building, and I think it's just really, really interesting in a way too. I think your intuition has always been telling you. I remember I was thinking my intuition was telling me something's wrong about these modern streets. And now this is confirming your intuition, right?
Okay, but Anne, for our viewers, how do you get an architecture instructor to choose and teach a chapter from the handbook to his or her students?
Well, I think it's not that hard, because I think students today are much different than when I went to school or when my father did. They're into health and well-being. And
Wait a minute.
and
You're not
and
answering.
now, and so in a way, this is a way towards that. I think Alexandros in his chapter, which by the way is free, the first 80 pages of the handbook are free. His chapter talks about beauty and well-being, that
Okay, but
beauty
yeah,
matters.
you're not answering my question. Who makes the decision? Do the students ask their professor, please teach us from this handbook? Or does the professor find the handbook and decides to teach a chapter to the students and assign it for a reading? How is it going to go?
Well, Nico, you're sitting at the top of a powerful institution. You tell me.
I have been thrown out by my architecture school, so I have absolutely no insight. And they erased my web page and they took my photo off the faculty list, even though I'm a professor in the architecture school.
Well, I was just had a phone
Just-
call with
it's just
another
unbelievable.
architecture. I just had another call with another architecture school. I will not name it, but they just called me. So, I think there's interest. I think younger faculty members are very interested.
Okay, so you have hope in younger faculty members discovering this work and then introducing it to the students. Good. I hope you're right.
I think that's the main goal, because less established faculty maybe, because the well-established faculty is very comfortable in their modernist thrones.
And this is by Julio Bermudez, who got over $1 million in grants from the Templeton Foundation to not only get this published, but to do his research. And in academia, they say publish or perish, Well, this is a venue, a way to go to get published, doing this kind of research.
It's interesting that the Routledge logo is a face. That's one of the first things I noticed. And Sussman talking about corporate logos being faces, and it's two faces.
It's two faces. Yeah, the corporate logos are faces. Yep.
Right.
Corporate logos are faces. And notice it's not sharp, it's curved. The curves make you look at it more easily. Well, guys, this has been great. I think it's just really exciting. I'm seeing interest from all over. I was just contacted by a book group in New York City. They wanted to do a launch for it.
Good.
And
tell them I can participate because I can visit my daughters in New York City.
Okay, I'll tell them that. They wanted me to get back to them.
That would be great.
No, but by the way, Alexandros, are you presenting this book at the IMCL conference tomorrow?
I'm not saying a few things about it, but I'm not presenting it per se, because I'm presenting this new pilot results. But of course, I have a slide with it, and I'm saying a few words about it.
Okay.
And
because this is a very, very receptive group, the participants of the conference.
No, I have a slide.
And I sent Michael Mahaffey flyers. So he said he would print them out, the flyers. Good. We could also announce the discount code that I think works for the book through December. I can give you the discount code if you want it,
and we
guys.
can also, I have it on the slide, actually.
Oh, good.
You have it on the slide?
Okay. Because our colleagues do not have large salaries, so the discount code helps.
And I also have the email addresses of participants of the presenting, so we can contact them too. Yes, I think the great thing about this book is that it's not a strictly, it's not a collection of scientific papers, and on the one hand, and it's not exactly popular science on the other. Somewhere in the middle. I think it's readable enough for the non-specialists to read, but at the same time, it's useful for the profession. Hopefully.
Yeah, that I think you're absolutely right, and it's different ways of looking at it. Some more scientific, more academic, some less. Very readable. Here's the discount code, guys.
25EFLY3.
25 EFLY3 star. Is the star included?
Asterisk.
Okay.
If you could, that is the discount code, valid on all kinds of books through December 30th, 2025.
What do you mean? Old Routledge books, not just a handbook?
I don't know if that, I think it might be just the handbook, but different versions of the handbook,
okay.
the ebook, the softback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
There's no discount on the hardcover?
Excuse me?
No discount on the hardcover?
Look,
It's
who wants to buy the hardcover? It's a cost of fortune. You can buy a car for the same amount of money.
But I
This
think
is
it's
the
also for the hardcover. Yeah.
Yeah, this
it's
is for
also
the
for-
hardcover. This is
Oh,
for the
I see.
hardcover.
There's a hardcover and the digital version. I don't think there's so.
Yeah, yeah. It's 25 E fly 3 asterisk. It's a crazy
So-
number, but that's
The contents of the hardcover are printed in grayscale?
yes, that's the weird thing that's so kind of disappointing. It's all gray. It's
I mean,
black
most
and
of it
white.
would be legible. I was curious how Nikos's the eye tracking looked on the grayscale.
So it's like this
Because-
looks all
Yeah,
gray. See,
it's okay, but it's nicer in color, much nicer in color.
the color looks much better, and
Yeah.
the color images are rendered better. It doesn't like this. This is a chapter on color. It doesn't quite
Oh,
work.
yeah.
Yeah. So in fact, the ebook is nicer because it has the color.
Yeah.
Right.
Cheaper,
The
much,
ebook is
much,
full.
much cheaper.
The ebook has higher resolution images too. Yeah,
You could probably
but
still
some of
tell
the
where.
images.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Where the hotspots are in grayscale. You could probably tell on the eye tracking. like-
Yeah, you kind
Yeah,
of
because they're
can.
white, but
They become
Yeah,
white. Yeah. Like this is the example here
No,
of
the ebook is better.
Alexandros's work.
Mhm.
You could still kind of tell. Yeah. But still, the fact we got it out, the fact we didn't have to pay to publish, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a huge achievement. So congratulations to Anne, Alexandros, and Vernon, was the third editor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
huge
then
and the contributors.
and the contributors
Yeah, who got paid zero?
who got
I
paid
didn't get
nothing.
paid.
And all sales will go to the happy.
Oh, really? Excellent.
Yeah. Right.
Which is a non-profit. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. So to get the science of design out there.
So all throughout history, have people never applied minimalism to the built environment until just until World War II? Like before that,
No.
like
No. I will tell you, I have written about this. Military fortifications applied minimalism to make the forts frightening so the enemy will not approach. Okay? So if you want to keep people away, you apply minimalism.
But you also have to understand our minimalism also has a biological basis because reality is a construct in your eye and your brain. With PTSD, you lose the visual cells that allow you to process detail. The brain shrinks. You don't have the cells. I think 50% of the cells in the cortex are visual processing. If a third of them die, you can't see detail. When you walk into Gropius's house, which is 6 miles from here, it's shocking. It's so blank. Everything is so blank. It's shocking because that in reality is a construct in your eye and your brain. He didn't have a brain that could perceive detail comfortably. And remember, PTSD, he died in 1969. PTSD was not even a word in the doctor's dictionary until 1980, the same year that autism spectrum diagnosis was accepted. Medicine can be slow, architecture slower, but it's a paradigm shift.
yeah, it's crazy how we got rid of all the elements. We got rid of the cornices, we got rid of the bases of the columns, we got rid of the capitals of the columns, we got rid of everything. It's
Not knowing we need them.
Yes, I'm sorry, Ara. There is also another typology, minimalistic typology throughout the ages. That's maximum security cells for prisoners. Totally minimalistic to make you just break down because you are totally disconnected from the world and it's oppressive.
Right.
Absolute sensory deprivation.
Exactly. Tried by all totalitarian dictatorships throughout the ages.
Right.
We were discussing this actually in our paper, talking about this Romanian orphanages during Ceausescu.
And but I think But I think another reason this book is groundbreaking is it starts talking about beauty and why beauty matters biologically. Beauty was never mentioned in my architectural education at UCLA in the 1990s. It's never mentioned on the licensing exam, but beauty matters. Beauty and
Well,
biological
beauty
well-being go like this.
is a forbidden word in mainstream architecture for decades.
But
It used to make
not,
sense. Okay, sorry.
but beauty is not in real estate. The most expensive places are the ones that are traditional architecture beautiful. You know, beauty really matters. And this book is starting to crack the thing to talk about beauty. And put it back into vocabulary. I mean, I was afraid when I wrote my first book, I didn't even think I would use the word beauty. It never even occurred to me. It was so banned. And now I'm realizing, no, we need to bring it back.
It used to make sense to me why the architect registration exam never mentioned beauty, because they say that their whole purpose is for architects to know how to defend the health, safety, and welfare of the public. So it's like you got to prevent.
Without beauty, you cannot be
Right.
healthy. It makes
That's
you
exactly.
sick. Lack of beauty is like lack of vitamin D. You know, you eventually die.
Did you see this?
Yeah,
Did you see this?
it's a need. It's not a luxury.
Did you see this building here? This is the old State House in Boston. It's so beautiful. At Christmas time, they make cookie boxes with the picture. Can you imagine making cookie boxes with Boston City Hall?
Maybe rat poison boxes.
I want to ask Alexandros, because Alexandros studied with a really famous neuroscientist, Semir Zeki. Semir Zeki has written this fantastic article several years ago. Beauty is a necessity, not a luxury. Tell us something, Alexandros.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, that's because it's because of all the things that we discussed. It's we're the perception of beauty actually is a marker that things are okay in the environment, that you're safe, that it is an environment that danger, that you perhaps find food, and it has all these different correlates. Like, you know, I have this slide that represents sometimes with the rotten and the ripe apple. There's a reason why ugly really sick. And this goes to all sorts of aesthetic criteria. So they are so connected. The idea of beauty is so connected to the idea of health, that said it goes against what we're tuned to, we're exposed to ugliness. And there's another paper by Zeki and some colleagues a few years ago. He's saying that
Ara, scroll down to show the title, please.
So another discussion he makes.
Yeah.
Zeki was not my PhD supervisor, but was one of my professors at UCL. So this was where I was first exposed to these ideas. And then the meeting with Nikos is what really turned me to this direction, and the collaboration with Nikos has helped. So so he says something else that is very, very interesting. And from the neuroscientific point of view, some of our listeners may know that his work has shown that there's a specific part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, specifically the medial orbital frontal cortex, that is always activated, overactivated, I should say, when we experience something as beautiful. So that is the neurological correlate of the sensation of beauty. Okay? If you feel that this human, this furniture, this building, this mathematical equation is beautiful, this thing like that. And he was saying that, okay, we have shown this, and for a long time now, we've known that the prefrontal cortex is also responsible for basically, at the end of the day, decision making. It's the part of the brain that balances the urge to do something and the potential outcomes of your actions. Okay, and this, by the way, doesn't mature until the early 20s. That's why you can do silly things when you're a teenager. So he was saying people never put these two together. how beauty is basically a compass about how to navigate the world. It's a compass
Yes.
for decisions.
Yes.
So I think this is from 2022. This paper, Zeki and some collaborators. It's a great paper. I forget the title, but it's a great paper.
But
So
what's happened in my lifetime though, what I've really noticed in the past 50 plus years is that the wealthy now demand beauty and get it. And the middle class, it's bad. They don't get it. So there's become this growing gap. It used to be beauty, it was noblesse oblige, beauty. We made beautiful libraries. It drew the world in. Now it's just become a thing for the wealthy. Very,
okay,
very beautiful.
how about the conjecture that we have proposed in some of our papers that the deliberate destruction of beauty in the built environment goes hand in hand in order to manipulate people because they can no longer make decisions. If somebody cannot make decisions, you can manipulate them like sheep. Okay, that's social engineering. Wow, that was the purpose of the Bauhaus movement, social engineering.
I think what's happened too is what I learned late in life too is that I thought architecture was about design. No, architecture is about money. And
It's
when I
about
tried to become
power and power.
and money, and when I tried to become a developer, I realized, oh, I had to understand what a spreadsheet was, and I had to be able to think about if interest rates rise. I didn't even know how to think like this. They didn't teach me that the real estate lords now control architecture, and they care about returns. So it's crazy.
I know Nikos is not a fan, but I'm curious what Anne and Alexandros think about shell structures, where it's like it's a large gesture, but the building, like the form of the building, is like a shell that looks like it's working with gravity, like Pierre Luigi Nervi.
Yeah, you want my opinion? This is an engineering typology. You can use the engineering typology and create the rest of the building to be human scale, and you can make a nice building. It's not by itself either pretty or ugly. It's how you combine it with all the other elements. That's
Right.
my opinion. Whereas mainstream architects look at the structure and say, "Oh, it's gorgeous." No, there has to be combined with the rest of the guts, the body of the building. That's what makes it human-centered or not.
Yeah, I would argue the problem is a city full of buildings like this would be dystopia. And the problem is architecture is not just what you're not taught in architecture school, which is also false, is that architecture is really about movement. It's about moving from one building to the next, the library, to the school, to the market, to the tea place, to your house, to go to your friend's house. It's about transit. And these buildings maybe look okay driving up to it, but not really. It doesn't really work. It demands car centrism, which is killing us.
Can you enlarge the building on the right?
This one?
Yeah, enlarge it. Okay, so where is the human attractiveness when you walk along the side? There's nothing there.
It's
like a
avoidant.
rock.
It's avoidant.
It's
It's avoidant. I could feel my heart rate go up. No, I don't know where. I wouldn't want to live next to this building. I wouldn't want to have to work in that building. I wouldn't want to have to go there to do a presentation. It doesn't work. But it looks cool. I think the problem in architecture school was you're taught to design a one-off, like your building is alone in space.
Yeah.
And it's not that, but that's not how your building will ever be experienced, unless someone's coming in from a helicopter or a drone.
But no one does the studies that we do to see how the building is experienced. No one does that. They stay at the image of the model. If it looks cool, wow, then you get a prize.
It's just the image of the model by itself.
Then you get a prize.
And alone in the universe.
And we don't get a prize.
Yeah, right.
I could use a new computer. Why don't we get any prizes? I got the Stockholm Architecture Award. Okay, that's a big prize. No money comes with it. I got a lovely medal, but no money comes with it. Whereas the architecture prizes that the bad architects get, they're a lot of money.
Listen, Ara, I really want to thank you for all your help putting us together and putting this together. And I think we're starting something big. We're starting this new foundation, and you're really helping us. You're putting in some of the original cobblestones here. This is
I
great.
appreciate it.
It's been great. I see we're almost out of time.
Yeah. Let's give the floor to Alexandros, since he's our special guest. Can come close to the microphone, please.
Well, what I want to say about the book is that I hope that it is the beginning of a new understanding, at least for some people. As Anne was saying earlier, there is a new interest about well-being, and I think this is the kind of a hook, so to speak, kind of approach that can be used to make people pay attention to this and to understand that, people understand well-being usually as having more plants, as slapping some green on the building, on the outside or on the inside of the building. And they should understand there's so much more for reasons that we now know and understand, for neurological reasons. And here's the other thing. This might help with the problem of elitism in architecture. I think the average person is treated by the architects as somebody who's ignorant and needs to be educated. So it's like you go to a restaurant and they give you a dish and you find it disgusting. So you call the chef and he says, "You don't know, you haven't studied cooking. What do you know?" "Yeah, but you shove it down my throat." So, and in architecture, actually, that's what they do, because you cannot avoid it. Maybe that restaurant, actually, you never go again. But in architecture, you go down the street and see it. So the thing is, and they say people that have our views are backward. That's what the modernists say. But in fact, they're backward. And we've been saying this for a time now. They're backward because we have the evidence of the latest kind of research with the latest tools that shows that, well, people have been right for 5,000 years and just wrong for the last 100 years. So we're just showing these new tools based on science, on neuroscience, on AI, etc., what we've known implicitly thousands of years, but we can actually show it more
Exactly. Right. In a way, that's such a good point. You suddenly understand your intuition has biological validity. You start to see that. Right. And then that's what's so fascinating too, how the business world doesn't question that. They run with it. They'll put a face right next to their logo. They're just right there. They just go with it to make money. So we need to use some of this science, though, not just to make money. That's what I think motivates me so much. We need to use it to bring us all together and build a beautiful world for everyone.
Each one of us is working overtime, trying to communicate the message to the world,
Yeah.
It's funny, Mies van der Rohe's quote when he was being criticized for all his buildings looking the same. He said, "You can't come up with a new architecture every Monday morning." But maybe that quote really defines the problem with architecture, which is like we shouldn't keep coming. If we have something that works, why not?
No. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe was misleading. What he meant was that just copy my minimalist glass boxes and that's fine for world architecture. Well, that's garbage. What an arrogant person.
Yeah. No, but it was also after World War II. I mean, they were so excited by processed food after all the food shortages, and that people didn't have food. Processed food was great, and plastics. And we now know that's killing us. The same thing with modern architecture.
Ludwig Mies van der Rohe's architecture is the white bread, processed bread.
Absolutely.
You cannot live on, you die.
On the fluff, just fluff.
It doesn't even get moldy. You leave it out and it doesn't.
Oh, then they loved it.
On it.
No, they loved it.
Yeah.
I have this ad for it right here, right? You see these ads, right? That was the ads.
Is that for the Wonder Bread?
That was for Wonder Bread.
Wonderful.
These are the ads for Wonder Bread. Yeah.
Not even.
That was the ad for Wonder Bread, and they loved it because they could. It wouldn't get moldy. They could take the wheat germ out.
The thing is the argument about having to create something new. by breaking all the old rules. It's a pseudo-argument because you can write new English literature without breaking the English grammar. You can follow the laws of English grammar and syntax and write new literature for thousands of years. You don't have to write to have words spread off a piece of paper, syntax, and no grammar. For me, this is what these people they dissolve the grammar and syntax of architecture.
Yes,
You can continue making new buildings without doing that. And the grammar and syntax is based on the geometry of nature.
exactly.
That's a good point.
It's exactly right. Brilliant, Alexandros. Well, thank you all for
Okay.
coming
Yeah.
together and
So
making
we'll
this
call it a
possible.
day.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm sorry
you.
about the connection.
No, that's fine.
That's all good.
Thank you,
Thank you, guys.
Thank Thank you, Ara.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Nikos.
everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
There
Nice seeing you. Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Stay in touch.
And